all, this is David from Sunward Hobbies with part 2 of my Tamiya P47 Thunderbolt build. Now, if you remember in part 1, I had basically constructed the whole interior, painted it, and stuck the fuselage halves together, and I primed it in black. So all that will be left to do in part 2, and hopefully the last part, is to stick on the wings, the engine nacelle, the propeller, as well as the smaller undercarriage bits. And then of course, paint the whole thing and we're done. So let's get right into it. Alright, part 2. Now I know I promised in the first video that I would do this all in one day, but hey, we all sometimes make promises we can't keep. Am I right, Kinetic? So let's get started on the wings. Now I'm hoping there's not going to be a gap between the wings and the fuselage, but this is Tamiya, so that's very unlikely that there will be a gap. Looks good so far. As you can see, that nacelle just slipped on very nicely. Now while I'm waiting for that glue to dry, I'm going to start painting anything that'll be metallic. And when it comes to painting metallics, I always prefer either enamel or lacquer. I just find that acrylic metallic paints, they just aren't that good. So for this I'll be using Testor's flat aluminum, and I've got the fuel drop tank on some self-closing tweezers so I don't smudge the paint once I've put it on. I rarely ever do this, but if I am ever hand brushing large areas like this, I prefer to keep my brush strokes in the same direction. Alright, next up I will be painting all the interior parts that require the yellow chromate. Now pay attention, as I'm going to show you a neat trick on how to paint the inside of canopy frames. Now this does require a steady hand, like a rock. It's just too bad that I paint with this hand. Alright, anyway. Trick is, don't bother painting from in here, because if you paint in there and then later on you paint your exterior color on here, it's just going to give you this trippy effect where you can see through your paint, which obviously isn't realistic. So basically all we're going to do is take whatever your interior color is, and we're going to paint it on top. Alright, now while that's drying, which won't take too long, I'm going to just touch up any other parts that use this same color, and then we'll get to the next part of this. That's had enough time to dry now, so now we're going to take my exterior color, which is going to be camouflage olive green, and simply just paint over that. So as you can see, olive drab on top and zinc chromate underneath. And it's as simple as that for painting canopies. So that is done. Now I'll move on to painting the entire plane. Still got my olive green. And I've got the biggest brush I could find. And now we finally get to the fun part. God, I am glad I switched over to airbrushing. Now for the belly, I'll be painting it in medium sea gray. I preferably would have used neutral gray, but we didn't have any in stock at the time of this recording. But I find this paint is pretty close. So for the ring around the engine cowling and for the rudder, I will be using not Vallejo, this time it's 2 thin coats, Demon Red. Normally I'd wrap some masking tape around here so I can get as fine and clean of a line as possible, but because I used entirely acrylic paint and primer, tape is just going to peel it right off. So I have no choice but to do this entirely by hand. We are almost there. All that's left now is to attach the last few parts. There you go. Construction and painting is all done. All that's left now is the decals. Now, this does have a lot of stencils, but just for the sake of time, I'm only going to apply the important ones, like the insignias, the squadron numbers, and the nose art. So let's just quickly get that knocked out, and we'll be all finished. Got my first decal here, and I'm applying it in some warm water. Takes about 30 seconds before it can slide off the paper easily. So while we're waiting, we're going to take some Tamiya Mark Fit Strawn and apply this to the area where the decal will be placed. Alright, time to get this on there. And put some more Mark Fit on top to help that decal conform to this curved surface. I like to take a Q-tip and just roll it along. Unfortunately, this decal is a little sheer, so you can kind of see through it a little. Alright, that fit on better than I expected. Glad that's over. In conclusion, it looks very, it's not too good, by my standards at least, especially compared to the other P47 that I made in my usual meticulous fashion and with an airbrush. But it was an interesting challenge to try and build and hand paint an entire kit in 2 days instead of 1. But I'm curious to see how any of you would do in a challenge like this. I mean, we've got a whole store full of kits that you can purchase at Sunward Hobbies, in-store, or online. So thank you very much for watching this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our socials, and until the next one, adios.